everyone. Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. We are live today with our monthly All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitches race. The racers are Crithel, MM2, Rob, and Spleevy. And our commentators are Foxlisk and Chex Human. So I will turn it over to them, and they can explain more about the category and the routing. And good luck to commentators and racers. Have fun!
All right. How's it going, Chex?
Hey, what's up, Fox? Going well.
Excited about this race?
Yeah, we have an all dungeons RMG race. That's restricted major glitches. So this is sort of like a medium glitches rule set in A Link to the Past.
Yep, we get to see a wide variety of glitches while still cutting out the really, really broken stuff. So big chunks of the game will look like normal gameplay that you might have experienced casually, but other chunks of it will look very exciting if you haven't seen this run before. I believe we also have a wonderful treat of all 4 runners on Restream are going to be doing slightly different routes, and in at least a couple cases, very different routes.
Yeah, we have an old route that is about 7 years old. And we have a new route that's about, a year old, or came out in 2020. And then that led to a wide variety of variations.
Yeah. So a runner named Blank found a new opening for this category, for a lot of categories actually, but including this one, that is very customizable after you do the opening. And 3 of these players are customizing it in different ways, I believe.
Yeah. And looking forward to this race. And we will follow as best as we can the different routes. But we'll see a lot of the same basic ideas throughout the run. We have a number of dungeons to beat, and it'll all end with Ganon at the end.
Yeah, and there are some tricks that are just sort of powerful enough that both routes, but pretty much every route, takes advantage of them, which we'll talk about when we get up to them, I guess. We can look forward to Divergence on the first screen of the game. Oh, and it looks like we're just about to get going. So good luck to the racers.
Right. So, normally in A Link to the Past, we start with the escape segment. We get a telepathic message from Zelda, and we have to rescue her from her cell, take her through the sewers. One of our racers will be doing that, most likely. The other 3 will immediately sequence break and go off to Eastern Palace.
And in fact, Crithel is going to be taking a pit stop on the way to Eastern Palace. You can see the 3 racers who are skipping the escape sequence, or well, more like putting it off for later, are getting the lamp early because you want to do dark rooms fast in Eastern. Rob J. Beasley is going to be doing the escape as normal. The other 3 runners are going to be doing a combination of glitches here where they jump off a ledge to do what's called arming EG. EG is a super powerful glitch that is not actually allowed in this category in its main form, but we allow you to do it on the overworld to skip a guard to break outside of the Hyrule Castle grounds. That requires arming EG and then doing another glitch called getting Lonk state, where Link kind of walks funny, so we call him Lonk.
Yeah, we used to call it lousy. Oh, excuse me?
No, go ahead.
We used to call it Lousy Link when we didn't really have a consistent name for it, or we called it Lunk or Lonk.
That's funny.
But yeah, Tajsa's vote was Lousy Link, so we had that name for a while. But the 2020 route really solidified the Lonk name.
We can think of Lonk as a shortening of Lousy Link.
Yes.
So these players now except for Rob, are going to be trying to get hit into the door by this guard. I think all 3 might have gotten it first try. Oh, that's wonderful. Sometimes you miss Lonk and lose like a minute and a half, and that's a really bummer of a way to start a race. So it's great to see all 3 get it.
So for some reason, being in Lonk state causes Link to take a different sort of knockback from the electrical barrier. In fact, he gets normal enemy knockback instead of electrocution. So that's what we need to activate EG on the overworld. That's the best way to get past that guard here. Yeah. And the only way in this route.
Yeah, in this rule set, I think. So now we see all 4 runners doing different things. Krithel is clipping out to the west because he's going to go get a bottle. MM2 and Spleeby are both sort of trying to accomplish the same thing, but using different clips. MM2 took a slightly slower path that's some runners find to be an easier clip to execute. You see it's not a huge difference.
Nice. So why is Krithel in Kakariko Village?
Because he's getting a bottle, which I assume is for safety, because YBAs are banned in this category. No, actually, this is because we need...
I was starting to get deep into that one. Yeah.
We need a bottle for a very difficult clip later in the run. That Krithel is one of only about 2 or 3 players that do that clip at all. So that's going to be pretty cool, but it's not for another 10 minutes or so.
Right. And we see a map wrap. So Kakariko happens to be very close to Eastern just because moving west causes a map wrap, and then Krithel can enter Eastern. But it is a peculiar state where we cannot move to the right or be nudged to the right at all, or the game hard locks and we infinite scroll.
Yeah, and then you just have to reset and do everything over again, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you gotta be super careful there. Now, Rob is into the sewers. The other runners are making their way through Eastern. Eastern is kind of scary in new route. You only have 3 hearts. Normally you would have 4 hearts, unless you're brave enough to skip Sank Heart. So you gotta be a little careful in here, but it's pretty much normal.
Yeah, and even in the old route, there was the option of saving Sank Heart until Death Mountain, but
that's true.
It doesn't totally matter with the new DMA that avoids a lot of danger on Death Mountain.
Right. Yeah, you're not really vulnerable to boulders much in this run because you get to clip past them for the most part.
And we have the anti-fairy skip successful for everyone. It's looking a little dangerous for Spleeby at 1 heart, but he should be fine. And a solid escape for Rob.
Yep, and Spleeby opting to take a safety heart in anti-fairy room. Very smart. You want to make sure you finish the dungeon. So Rob now is going to be finishing Eastern. This is going to look exactly like a normal NMG run. Well, except he gets to save and quit. And it's going to look basically the same as these other racers Eastern. If you don't do all this clipping out stuff, you still just like really want the boots immediately. And so you just... Getting Eastern done is required to get the boots, even in this rule set, and basically every rule set. And so it's really high priority to get the boot, no matter what run you're doing, pretty much.
Yeah. Clipping... did you say that boots make clipping out of bounds easy?
I don't think I did say that, but it should be said. Almost all of the out of bounds clips are a billion times easier with boots.
That's right. And clipping is the main, the main distinction of this category.
Right.
It saves a lot of overworld time.
We're about to see a lot of it. All 3 runners through Eastern with no big trouble.
Yeah, and we are in rain state, and we'll continue in rain state in an unusual screen. We may see it. We're going to have an overworld adventure in the rain, basically. And we'll see that on multiple screens.
You'll see these runners now getting the Saha bombs. If you're familiar with the NMG run, you'll know that a lot of runners opt to take the rupees from Saha's closet instead of getting more difficult rupees later. But with the exception of Krithel, they're just getting the bombs here because we need the bombs to do a bomb clip in a couple minutes, which is a way of doing underworld clips that is much easier than underworld clipping usually is, because you can't use the boots to make underworld clips easy. Instead, you use the bombs. Well, actually, you need the boots as well as the bombs. So you do still need boots for them. Krithel did get the money because he's off to buy a potion now. This obviously is why he got the bottle, because he needs a potion in it.
And he needs rupees to pay for that potion. Yeah. I don't recall exactly whether we can just get one rupee chest, but
I think it depends on drops, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Spleeby and MM2 have done their DMA so quick you can blink and miss it. It's, as Chex mentioned, the new DMA, we still call it, even though it's a couple years old now. It makes getting up... DMA stands for Death Mountain Ascent. Normally we can't get up here. You need the gloves to get to up the mountain, and we don't have the gloves yet. But we have a number of ways to clip there, and this is by far the easiest and also, luckily, the fastest. And then we get to see Rain State Death Mountain.
Yeah, so the layers are a little funky, and it's showing the background of Death Mountain.
Rob showing off some game knowledge, picking up the top right heart pot in Gifted with Greenies.
Yeah. All right, so now it's happening. We've got MM2 and Sleepy going into Spectacle Rock Cave, and this is going to be a shortcut to get to Palace of Darkness.
Sleepy getting hard bullied by that Moldarm.
Oh, that's right. MM2 is not going to Palace of Darkness yet.
Oh, right. We get to see Rain State Dark Death Mountain, which is the worst. Just the ugliest screen.
It is really bizarre. We've got falling green Lionels.
Right. So what is MM2 doing?
MM2 is going to earn the silver arrows. So, what we can do is offset Link's... Well, I think what he already did is he already offset the mirror portal, and now he is going to find this mirror portal, which he placed by screen wrapping Link. Now he is running back to the castle. Might not look like it, but that's where he's going.
Did he do the DMD without correcting the camera or something? Because that looked weird.
No, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine.
I trust you.
He's got silver arrows. All good.
And then he's going to do the escape,
yeah,
because the silver arrows are right next to the escape.
Yes.
We have now... So Krithel and Spleeby both did what we call the Kiki skip, where you do that bomb clip and it gets you right into Palace of Darkness. Spleeby opened a door and then reloaded the dungeon. So now he's really in Palace of Darkness and he can go through it and finish it and beat the boss. Krithel did not do that. He's staying in Cave State. We have to beat this dungeon because it's all dungeons. You have to beat all the dungeons. And you can't beat this dungeon in Cave State. The boss isn't there. And you can't get to the boss anyway. So he is going to do a series of very elaborate glitches that allows him to... we're stealing this big key from Palace of Darkness so that we have what's called Cave State Big Key, which hopefully I'll have time to talk about later. But we need it to get this hammer and unlock. And since we're getting this early hammer, there's no big key left to use in pod later if we come back in real pod state where the boss is there. So we have to unlock the boss door. That requires some really nasty glitching that Krithel's about to show off.
And it requires that bottle and potion that he picked up,
Right.
at least for this version, because it'll allow him to get super speed, which is pretty unusual in a dungeon. But the potion allows Link to move into stairs,
Right.
To make that happen.
So the way you arm super speed is you do a spin dash, we call it, and then you touch a staircase. And the underground staircases like these work perfectly fine, except that they transition you. If you go deep enough to arm super speed, they transition you normally. So you have to interrupt that transition somehow. And you can do it by holding something, or you can do it by using a potion. And so
right, we got to teleport.
Yep.
And this part is the most nerve-wracking part of this, because Link can easily pop out of this railing, but it's just going to take a few more steps, and then Grithel can unlock that big key door.
Darkened Sky in chat points out that 4-heart Helmasaur is very scary. You're in 2-hit KO. This is probably the main reason that MM2 is getting silvers. When I ran this category, I got silvers for a long time just for Helmasaur.
Very nice from Grithel.
There we go. Yeah, we just
got
unlocked that door because there's no way to unlock it if we don't do it now.
Now
So you can
MM2
Into
is
Helma.
off to pot.
Yep.
Oh, yes. The scary 4-heart fight. We can only get hit 2 times before being knocked out.
There's a newish trick where you do a spin dash. Oh boy, 2 hearts. We've got spoilers in chat though. You do a spin dash and it makes your hammer hitbox better when you're facing up, which makes this a little less scary than it would otherwise be, but still very terrifying. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. We're through.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there. Spleeby was able to anticipate Helma's movement and outmaneuver him.
It's the name of the game.
And
So now-
to me, it was slightly tempting to do a dash turn toward Helma when pinned against the wall, because that could help get a free hit in, but then you would lose your super speed state.
Yeah,
basically.
I agree.
I don't
think
know.
I would have done that and regretted it. I think that
Yeah.
Spleeby's discipline was very good there.
Yes.
So now we have, in just a moment, all these runners are going to have completed basically the same stuff. The Escape, Eastern, and Palace of Darkness. But they have various levels of other stuff being done.
Yeah.
MM2 will have silvers. Krithel will have pod not all the way done. Spleeby and Krithel and MM2 have access to a key in the sewers that they can use to get the hook shot later. I don't know how many of them do that. I think Spleeby and Krithel both do, and MM2 does not.
I
don't
think that's correct. Incidentally, we saw ball and chains on Grithel's side spared because that big key that you mentioned before, it happens to allow us to get the castle big key in our inventory, so we can just save Zelda.
It also gets us a couple other big keys in our inventory, which is actually why Krithel's route is fast.
Yes.
The whole reason that Krithel does that extremely difficult clip is in order to have Cave State Big Key.
That's right. it's really helpful in Hera because, as we know from getting the big key in Hera, we have to wait through the title room, and that whole room is skipped.
Yeah, and we don't even need this key, the small key that Krithel is getting.
Mm-hmm. But Krithel grabbed it.
Oops. No, so one of the things about this game is that it doesn't actually track keys and dungeons very sophisticatedly. If you're in a dungeon and you go to a room that's in a different dungeon, the game just still thinks you're in whatever dungeon you're in, and it's not like, oh, well, you need specifically a swamp small key for this swamp small key door. It's just like, well, you have a small key and you're in a dungeon and there's a door, so it's fine. So we can go from this room that has the moon pearl in it straight to swamp and pick up the hookshot using the small key from Hera and the big key from Cave State Palace of Darkness.
We've got a really nice Helma fight. Yeah. Fast phase 2 Helma for Rob J. Beasley.
Nice. You love to see it. MM2 having a little bit of a turtle party here.
Yeah.
So, this feels pretty bad going from 5 hearts to 4 hearts because it means you have one less hit to take. But MM2 has the most firepower in the whole game, so I think he'll probably be feeling all right.
He'll be holding on to a torch during the Sanctuary cutscene. This should save frames, maybe even over a second. And the text speed lag.
Yeah, I think so.
Krithel, we didn't talk about this whole swamp sequence, but Krithel had a pretty nice fake clippers to get through the flooded room of swamp, and then get early hook shot. What's that?
He didn't chest turn though.
Oh no, no chest turn. That's too bad. We'll see if Spleeby gets it.
MM2 showing off the power of silvers. Spleeby is going to be getting the big key from Hera because he doesn't have Cave State big key, and so he's going to need a different small key to get that hook shot, which we'll see him get in about a minute, where he's going to do another bomb clip and grab the key that we didn't use in the sewers. So by putting off we didn't really talk about this at all, but the reason that the route that these 3 players are doing in the opening is fast is that you get the mirror, which allows you to skip the sewers when you're rescuing Zelda.
Yeah.
And so another consequence of skipping the sewers is that you leave behind a small key that you can pick up in Hera and use in Swamp.
Oh, Leeby's walking funny. He's got pot spin speed to make the title room more interesting.
This is the same trick that Krithel used, but it's a lot less useful here. It's just
yes, exactly. Yeah, like the potion allowed Link to step onto the stairs and activate spin speed. Holding a pot does the same thing, where you can walk onto the stairs without walking into the stairs.
Right.
Stairwell.
I think both Spleeby and Rob managed to take a hit in Tile Room, which is the goal here.
Oh no! MM2 left without the key. Alright. That's a common occurrence with the boomerang. The boomerang's just that slow.
Yeah, it's really easy to hit the transition before the boomerangs got back to you.
And incidentally, for Krithel, he's gaming at 4 hearts. It's pretty difficult to do Thieves Town consistently at low hearts. It is a little scary, but things are looking good.
Yeah,
so
4 is
far.
not too bad as these things go. Sometimes you get there with like 1 or 2, and that feels really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there are opportunities to save on health. So I'm wondering if anyone's playing it a little safer for the race.
Yeah. Yeah, seems pretty likely. Spleeby is on his way to do this hookshot sequence, so maybe we can talk about it this time as it's happening. He's got to clip into Swamp in this lower left corner, and then from there, we don't have the flippers yet, but in this version of the game anyway, the way swimming works is if you get in the water, Link spawns a number of little splashes, and one of those splashes is given the responsibility of kicking Link out of the water. And if you put enough stuff on screen in a fairly precise way, with arrows and bombs in this case, you can just make the game be like, well, I don't have enough room to make the splashes appear, and then there's nothing to kick Link out of the water. So we can swim without flippers kind of whenever we want. And for some reason, swimming without flippers in that room also allows you to clip into a railing and get out of the water.
Yeah, there are a number of ways to clip that railing. I think we saw a diagonal
Yeah, I think so.
stair, whatever. I don't know what you call it. We'll see what Sweeby does here.
MM2, meanwhile, is just opting not to get early hookshot. The early hookshot route is more difficult and saves a little bit of time, but you have to do Thieves Town without a heart refill, which is the main danger of it. And so MM2 is opting for a slightly safer route where he just finishes off Moldorm right now, and then we'll head to Thieves Town afterwards.
That's turn. Nice job, Sweeby.
Nice.
Racking up those chest turn points.
Spleeby is a master chest turner.
That's true. And a bit scary in Petting Zoo for Spleeby, but thanks to Yuzuhara's recent dash clip technique.
Oh, and the big hop.
Nice big hop. Very good. Spleeby's done some science on that as well. But yeah, Yuzu's dash technique allows a Hera to swamp clip without a bomb. You know, it's not a bomb clip, it's a dash clip.
Right.
And he couldn't, you know, even if he wanted to bomb clip, he couldn't because he had one heart. So now we're going into Thieves Town with one heart. So it's a little nerve-wracking here. Meanwhile,
we're just taking Death Warp.
Ah, good call.
Get some
good
call.
Back. Krithul's appearing like it looks like he's doing the frog door technique.
Oh no.
To pick up the smith and earn the Book of Medora in a funny way. But he gets the talk. He avoided the hard lock, which is what Fox's "oh no" refers to. So that's good. Saving frames.
Yeah, normally when we're not glitching, we have to go really far out of our way to get that book. But when we are glitching, we don't need it until late in the run, which allows us to combine it with the dwarf, which saves a lot of overworld travel.
And shoutouts to Doomtap in chat for giving helpful reminders to our runners, like Sweeby. And also for us, we can help explain what fake Dark World is. Spleeby died in a Dark World dungeon, and Aghanim's not defeated. And for some reason, the game thinks that you're in the Light World when that happens. So, as a side effect,
only partially.
Yeah,
you're in a weird state where you can use the mirror and go from fake Dark World to real Dark World, but if you don't do that and you screen transition, then you're stuck in really the Light World, and so then you have to get back to the Dark World before you can pick up the frog.
Right, and that would be the main routing problem that occurs here.
There are places where the consequences are much more dire, but they're not huge here.
Right, as a consequence, we're seeing different pot types.
Yeah. MM2 just got the worst crickets I've ever seen in the attic.
Oh, I missed it.
It was really gross. So you'll note that Krithul is doing kind of the same stuff that Spleeby and MM2 are going to be doing. He's not as far ahead as he looks because he still has to go back and clean up Helmasaur later. I think he is a little bit ahead, but it's very hard to tell. And these routes won't reconverge for a really long time. And all 4 routes won't reconverge until we enter Ganon's Tower. So it's kind of hard to track the lead for the most part.
That's, you know, you said it. It's really hard to tell until Ganon's Tower. And Crithel's in Skullwoods. Now, I do want to mention Crithel had a pretty nice blind cell screen. The jukes were pretty good.
I missed it.
Yeah, so making his way through Skullwoods. More or less the same dungeon as we would see in all routes and in NMG.
Yeah, the main difference in Thieves Town is you don't have a good sword and you can't lift up that rock in the basement. But neither of those ends up mattering as much as you might expect. Mainly they don't matter because blind takes the same amount of damage from every damage class. Well, some things don't do any damage, but anything that damages him does the same amount. So it doesn't really matter how good your sword is. Grithel heading into a slightly sketchy moth fight here in a second.
We got a frog door from Rob J. Beasley as well.
Can't believe it. I'm resigning in protest.
Team Frog Door.
There's an alternative to the frog door strat that loses like 30 frames but doesn't have a risk of also losing 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Successful frog door from Rob J. Beasley. And a successful moth fight from Grithel.
Looks like it was damageless, yeah. Low heart moth is somewhat scary. That fight can get out of control pretty easily.
Yeah. There are certain RNGs that will be just a bad combination.
Yeah.
We don't want the moth and the conveyors to go opposite directions.
So everyone's getting their tempered sword except Crithel, who's off to whatever's next. Okay, so MM2 is doing the good strat. Thank goodness. So by placing his mirror portal over to the right there, you line up for what's called a quick warp, which I just realized we haven't mentioned, but whenever you warp between the light and the dark worlds, there are certain pixels that are 34 frames faster for some reason. Something to do with the way the screen wiggles are calculated, I think. And that saves 34 frames. Crithel with an extremely good Hera pot. Nice work, Crithel. That's a trick that allows us to skip the climb up Hera. This is one of the reasons why it's slower to do to kill Moldorm when M2 did it, is just because he had to climb up again or like finish the climb. I guess that's actually not why, because he was already up there. But if you get the early hook shot, then you want to do Harapot to skip the second climb.
Right.
Rob having quite a mummy room. Yikes.
Okay, looks like we're on our way to that button. Oh yeah, he has to dodge that clutch again.
Oh, and he's in this terrible spot where, yeah. All right.
Yikes.
We made it.
Typical Skullwoods.
That is, many players pick for the worst room in the whole game.
Yeah. Especially in all dungeons where we don't see chain chomps.
Right. So Crithel now is going to Misery Mire, which means he needs the Ether Medallion. And the quickest way to Misery Mire is... Oh, interesting. He's wrapping from the bottom instead of entering the warp at the top. Huh. Anyway, is what we call a super jump. where we jump from the mountain down a zillion overworld screens and end up right next to Misery Mire.
Yeah, this is one of the flashiest clips.
Literally, actually, the screen's going to be flashing pretty badly.
Yeah, that's true. But the degree of flashing is not that bad, because it gives us a square rain pattern.
Right. So we saw Link jump off a ledge and scroll and sort of wrap around the map several times before finally landing. And then we're down at the bottom of the map. And
navigating to Misery Mire is a little tricky, but Krithel's got it memorized. Fast scrolly scroll.
Yeah, the collision does not match the pixels on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of confusing.
For some reason, the scroll can save 11 frames, I believe. Not sure why.
It also looks cool.
Yeah. Importantly.
Rob with another very nice moth fight. Oh, yikes. Getting hit by that spark is... Oh, getting hit by it again. Oh, wow. I wonder what caused that. That's
it's just so annoying, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous now for his heart. Yeah, he might be getting bridge key.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. This is pretty bad otherwise, I think. Or you can just... I don't actually know if it's faster to get bridge key or just take the left route to Vidi later. But
right.
We'll see what Krithel opts to do.
Yeah. I wonder if Krithel could improvise and do the new Hoda route, if that applies here. I don't know if it does. There's a new route used in low percent.
Doesn't that involve a hover, or am I forgetting something?
Well, it can, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know the details.
Optimally.
Oh, Spleeby accidentally getting a spin. Oh, and accidentally getting a map. All right. Somehow still having a very good moth fight.
Oh, we've got 2 runners on moth. MM2 as well.
Nice.
Very good.
All right, everyone threw moth safely. That's one of the scariest boss fights in this category, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, so what's next for Rob? He's got the classic East Death Mountain traversal to get to Zora's domain. He's got 4 hearts left. Hopefully we don't die to the squirrels. I don't know why. This route warms my heart. We get Ether, then we get Zora's flippers. They're close enough to pair them together.
Oh, Krithel did a rail clip there. I guess he did get bridge key. I wasn't watching, but I saw the rail clip, which I assume means he got bridge key. That's a nice way to make bridge key faster. We get to see muddy water in Zora's domain. He didn't get bridge key. What is that key called? Did he get whatever that key is called?
Did he get the meetup room key? I assume that's what he did.
I don't know what anything is called.
Oh,
I don't play
okay.
Rando.
So, okay. Excuse me. Yeah, so Krithel got the meetup room key and then did a rail clip, sort of a dash clip, to extend door state and move down the stairs. I assume, if memory serves, we cannot use that in NMG. That's an RMG allowed glitch, of course.
Yeah, door state extension is banned in NMG.
Yeah, just like Icebreaker.
Yeah, same glitch. It's the one Shady asks what meetup room key is. I'm inferring from context clues that it's the name of the key in the like top layer of the main hub in Mire, where you have to hit the switch to spawn the chest. MM2 showing off a slightly different clip to Zora's Domain. You can clip out of bounds basically anywhere on the south side of that screen, and he was just avoiding squirrels. So we see Krithel doing Mire before Desert, and the other players doing Desert before Mire. Oh no, Krithel getting hit, getting taken out by Vitreous. That's painful.
Yeah, that was a really unlucky movement there from that right eyeball.
So that's a pretty big time loss. Ooh, we get to see Bo Mire too, though. Oh no, we don't. We get to see Desert first. That makes sense. So I was just about to say, why are we doing... So MM2 is doing... and Rob is doing Desert first. Sorry, MM2 is about to also, but you don't know that yet. I can just see his splits. Where Krithel did Mire first.
And Krithel is still doing Mire first. He had to correct his fake world.
Oh, that makes sense. That's even smarter. Good job, Krithel. And the reason for that is that Krithel just completed Hera. He got the heart refill from Hera now, and so he has enough hearts to do all the fast stuff in Mire. And MM2 and Rob finished Hera earlier, and so they don't have a heart refill, and so they're going to get the heart refill from Desert and then go into Mire.
A scroll from Sweeby as well. You love to see it.
You do love to see it. So Mire is really short in this category. You have to get the big key unless you got the Cave State big key. So everyone except Krithel will have to get the big key, and then you just go burn the boss. We have Fire Rod. Normally this fight is very, very difficult. Fire Rod fight is not like trivial or anything, but it's a lot easier and faster than doing it with the bow. One of the really fun things about this category is that Lanmo and Moldorm, who are usually menaces in the NMG run, become very easy, and it's fun to just kind of brutalize them after all the times they've hurt you.
Yeah, we've had so much to talk about. I haven't really watched anyone's Moldorm fights, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. I saw MM2 going at it with the hammer, and Krithel got to do it with the Tempered Sword instead, which is a little easier.
Right.
Krithel accidentally getting his pegs backwards in his head and has to come in here and can't do the spooky glitch. If you're familiar with the spooky glitch from NMG, we can do something similar in this category. We use the flute to set the spooky variable in a desirable way in NMG, and we don't have the flute in this category, which we kind of neglected to mention. But one of the consequences of that is that we have to do something different to set up spooky if we want to use it. And so we throw a Samaria block into a pit, which sets a usable but kind of inconvenient value that requires us to do an oddly timed item dash and stuff.
Right.
Oh, Krithel already down to 1 heart here.
We gotta be safe.
Doesn't have a lot of arrows either.
No.
I think we're going to use them on the eyeballs and then slash and spin the big eye. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we actually preserved 6 arrows for this. Okay, we're through. Nice work. That was a little scary, but we got it.
Moldorm's got away from MM2 a little bit. But that's okay. Onward to Mire for him.
Players not taking advantage of the free menu in Desert. Although I think actually you just want to be on Fire Rod next, so I take it back.
I never thought of that. Yeah, that's one of those newer techniques that we think about in NMG if we want to take advantage of it. And in all dungeons, I have not thought about it. Could be useful. But like you said, we do want to be on Fire Rod. No, we want to be on Ether. It's
That's
time
true.
to open
Yeah.
Mire.
You could have saved a menu there. So while the pendant is falling, you have the pendant keeps falling if you open up the menu. So you can menu for free during the pendant fall. For some reason, you're allowed to pause in Lanmo's arena and Armos's arena, despite the fact that you're not allowed to pause after killing any of the other bosses. So Krithel now on his way to do desert. All 3 of our other players are in Mire, though. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Spleeby spamming his magic because he is going to do what's called fake powder. I did not realize that he got the mushroom. The mushroom is a little bit more out of the way in this category than NMG, but I guess for race safety, he wanted it.
Yeah, I missed that pickup. But yeah, it is something that Spleeby could mirror to during the Skullwood segment.
Yeah, it's not like super far out of your way. It just costs a mirror. MM2 also on a number of hearts that makes Spike Key very questionable, so we'll see how he opts to deal with this.
He's at 0 arrows.
Oh, and misses the magic. Yikes. It just occurred to me, he's doing old route, and so he probably skipped that magic on purpose, thinking, oh, I need to get this the second time, but picking up the pot already despawns it permanently, so he's going to have magic problems now. The game doesn't actually check if you picked up the pot, it just checks if you picked up... Well, it doesn't check if you picked up the magic pot, it checks if you picked up the skull pot. So Rob is doing his the same clip that Krithel and Spleeby did earlier to get to the hookshot. He's doing it from inside Mire, though, because you can get from Mire to Hera, and then from Hera to Swamp. And Mire has a billion extra keys, so it's a little easier to find a spare. Krithel doing another map wrap to get the ice rod. Has to be very careful not to nudge right. Okay, we're good.
Right, it's one of those dangerous map wraps.
And MM2 about to get the bad news. Wow, he got that same Slugula RNG both times. What a jerk.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Nothing under the pot.
So Krithel now is going back into pod. I believe this is where he's finishing Helmasaur. You want the Cane of Samaria to finish Helmasaur. Optimally, you want it to do a second basement clip. Instead of getting another potion, you can pick up a Samaria block to get the super speed. I think that he's actually just going to use it to hit the switch in Sexy Statue Room, though.
Exactly. And what I didn't mention before, he's doing Kiki Skip again, and his technique is an insta clip. That is a bomb clip where Link is sort of blasted into a spot where he can kick into a transition. The slightly older way to do that is to teleport, using a setup found before the bomb clip was known about.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty fast setup.
I really liked the insta-clip, but different people, there's a lot of different ways you can do Kiki Skip.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think everyone has their hookshot now. MM2 is suffering from not having magic, having to do a kind of slow Mire 2. Missing that magic is unfortunate, but not like game breaking. You just have to take it a little slower in a couple places. Oh, right, and of course his hearts didn't matter because he got the refill in Hera.
MM2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Additionally, MM2 has silver arrows, so the Vitreous fight might be a little different.
Oh, right, yeah. You can always just burn him down with arrows. Well, Rob not quite getting all the eyeballs, but not a big problem. No, MM2 picking up extra lobby arrows. That sure points to him using silvers here.
Yeah.
Fleeby's about to do his map wrap to get the ice rod. Grithel's about to do... So we had 2 hammer Helmas. We're going to get 1 tempered Helma now, and we had a silver's Helma earlier. Nice variety.
Yeah.
Grithel actually opting to get spin speed for phase 1 and then cancel it for phase 2. Interesting idea.
All right. So after Palace of Darkness, Grithel's next stop is Turtle Rock, and will be interesting to see his route from there. Everyone else, not everyone else, others may be doing Turtle Rock before Ganon's Tower.
Spleeby is on his way to Turtle Rock right now.
Yes.
I think MM2 and Rob are doing Turtle Rock late, because we have this sort of series of overworld clips that Rob just finished the first of that take us from Mire to right next to Swamp, and then from Swamp to right next to Ice Palace.
Yep. The southern sweep of the Dark World.
MM2 showing off how vulnerable Vitreous is to the silver arrows.
Right.
So Spleeby and then Grithel right behind him are going to be doing backwards Turtle Rock. Backwards Turtle Rock is pretty fun. The rooms aren't really meant to be done backwards, and so you get to do some weird strats in them, like this cool crystal roller. And then we did a clip and then a mirror wrap, which I'll leave to Chex to explain if he can, which let us get into the end entrance. Turtle Rock is one of the dungeons that has a bunch of entrances, and we get into the last entrance, and then we can go backwards to the big key and then just mirror. So we only have to traverse like a third of the dungeon.
Joke's on you. I don't know how mirror wraps work.
All right, well, you press left and Y on the same frame. That's all I ever figured out about them.
Yeah, it is an overworld transition corruption, which is allowed in RMG categories. We could also use a bottle and fake flute if we wanted to.
Right. Grithel actually has a bottle. Maybe he should find a way to fake flute.
I know.
You're already
right?
getting the bottle.
Yeah.
Rob doing a diver down now. There we go.
Nice.
It's a nice little trick. Saves you a few seconds in Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace is really fun in this category because you don't have to do any of the boring left side swamp stuff. You can just sort of go, and you get to do a fun clip in the middle.
Our runners are doing everything they can to avoid pushing and pulling statues in this speedrun.
Yeah. Spleeby with a pretty good try next. See if we can get the double spin. Rob is not opting to go for the 0 cycle Argus, which is difficult and frustrating strat that saves a lot of time, and so a lot of people go for it and then get frustrated all the time. I'm definitely not calling myself out.
Getting frustrated in A Link to the Past?
Couldn't be me. I have noticed that if I'm reading his splits right, I think that MM2 is miles ahead of his PB. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully he can keep it together without any disasters and have a really, really juicy new PB after this race. MM2 also going for a right side diver down setup. It's a little bit slower, but It's more familiar to a lot of people who are rando first players.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong from here. Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting how runners have different comfort levels with glitches like that.
Oh, Spleeby trying to go for the Louis hop, but somehow he's on a bad pixel. Oh, all right. Well, it's fine.
Now he's blocked by a dead rock. Where are we going? We're not blocked.
We're not blocked. What? Good work. Rob is doing this clip, which just gets us onto a cliff that we can use to mirror.
Yeah, this is dangerous.
Ice. Right. The
Going
next
for a
after
mirror
the
wrap.
mirror wrap. The mirror wrap isn't the dangerous part, but it does put us in a place where we have to risk an infinite scroll to get to ice. It's a pretty big window, but we've definitely seen runners miss it and lose their runs before. But we're good.
Yeah. It looked like Rob went on the upper end of that window. If we go too high, then we hit that infinite scroll. Now we're in Ice Palace. Rob is doing a bomb clip to get to the bombable floor, and his setup was, I believe, known as the Fricker setup, which involves a bomb throw.
I could never get the walk to work, so that's the only one I know. I think that Ice Palace and Old Route AD might be my actual favorite segment in any Link to the Past category I've run. You have to do a clip into a mirror wrap, into a bomb clip, into Icebreaker, and then you just run to Cold Stare and kill him. It's so fast paced and so fun.
Right, it really is. And these rooms are a bit empty, but that sequence you mentioned is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And from Rob, we did not quite get the stair spin clip. That's okay.
Good to
Close.
Go for it, though.
Oh, I didn't see Krithel's screen. So Krithel just finished Turtle Rock and went to get the flippers, but I didn't see how he clipped in the Zora's domain.
Hop. Yeah, I didn't see it either.
Oh, okay. So MM2 is doing the walk.
Oh, nice.
The first attempt didn't quite get there. Second attempt did.
Go. Rob on Cold Stare, which is a terrifying fight. There's sort of a quick kill that makes it all over immediately, and if you miss that quick kill, then you're just your heart rate doubles instantly. Fleeby has forgotten a key.
Yikes.
Rob got the quick kill very nicely, though. M2 doing his Icebreaker. Oh, he's doing some setup that I don't understand. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, a little different than what I'm familiar with.
So it is an option to pick up the big key. So the room that we Icebreaker in, we clip through that rail. The thing in that chest is the big key, and you can use that to get the blue mail if you're worried about the end game. It's a pretty good safety. It costs, I don't know, 12 seconds maybe. So it's like hard to justify and like if you're like really pushing your PB time, but it's a pretty good safety if you're worried about anything. There's a lot to worry about in the rest of the run. Having quite a time of Lonely Firebar here.
We figured it out.
We'll see if any of our runners go for Zero Cycle Argus. I'm not sure if any of them do.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. MM2 went for it, but just didn't quite get it.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. We see Rob here has to get his Ice Rod, just like everyone else. And this route swims to it from Ice Palace instead of map wrapping from Desert.
Yeah, which is a lot safer.
It sure is. And he's, warming my heart, taking the NMG route. Oh, MM2 setup got a little wonky on Cold Stare here. Oh, yikes. All right, let's hope this goes well for him. Looking pretty good. Shouldn't be a problem from here, I think. Okay, we're good. We're fine. All right. Cold Stare is really, really scary if you don't get the quick kill.
Yeah. It's hard to predict spins due to the lag. The direction and velocity of the puffs are unpredictable. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand their like hitbox every time because they like inflate and they breathe. I don't know what they do.
Why do eyeballs need to breathe? It's not natural.
Uh-huh.
So Rob doing his clip into Turtle Rock. Fleeby heading to Ice Palace.
Yeah, and Spleeby setting up a mirror wrap as well. Mirror wrap from Rob as well for Turtle Rock. The Turtle Rock mirror wrap, it can go wrong.
Oh, did he
but
get it? Oof.
It's not a hard lock.
No, I think you can just mirror.
But
no, you can't. Okay, you have to save and quit.
Yeah.
Spleeby actually accidentally pressing the buttons in the wrong order.
Yeah, that's a bit of a time loss, but it's not race ending.
For Rob, you mean?
For Rob. Yeah, he just had to save and quit and try it again.
Yeah, it's like 40 seconds or something. You don't want to do it, but it's by far not the worst thing that you can do in this category.
Mm-hmm.
Grithel making his way to his mirror wrap into ice. I think these players are now all in the last split before Ganon's Tower.
Yes. That's correct.
So still pretty hard to say exactly where they stand, but quite close together. Spleeby getting a rail clip, but not the good version of it.
That's
but
okay.
Still good. I'm a huge fan of the rail clip.
Yeah, it's kind of costly when it doesn't work out, but
it does
it's
cost
pretty
you
fun.
a heart. I think the slow rail clip like almost ties doing the room without the rail clip, though. It's not all that slow.
Yeah.
Grithel with a beautiful icebreaker, and Spleeby with a very clean cold stare at the same time. Very nice. MM2 and Rob. Okay, so we can say conclusively that MM2 and Rob are all but tied. They are doing the same thing, and they are in the same room.
Wow.
Actually, I take it back. MM2 is way ahead because he has silvers.
Yeah.
Well, way ahead. 25 seconds ahead or something. But silvers are a pretty big advantage in the end game. It's a weird way to do this crystal roller room. I'm assuming that's just a slip up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as I can tell, MM2 does not have a PB on the SRC leaderboard yet, so I had nothing really to compare to before the race. So it will be interesting to see if we get a nice PB out of this.
Yeah, I'm just going off his splits. I don't know how accurate they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one puff getting away from Grithel. That's sort of the risk of doing 6/. Oh, MM2 having some trouble in Poke1. He opted for a sort of non-standard strat on that RNG, and what you want to do is you want to spin when the Poke's hopping into you, and then it takes damage from your spin twice. You sort of double spin it, and then it's just dead. And he hit it sort of obliquely, and so it only got spun once, and then he had some trouble to deal with. But made it through fine.
Meanwhile, we
Sleepy
had
is into GT.
Ganon's Tower clip. Sleepy was able to activate Sword Out Hook Speed to simply clip the wall at the bottom of Dark Death Mountain and
Right.
hops into Ganon's Tower.
And so, in this category, you don't have a heart refill coming into GT unless you talk to the old man, which takes some time. I'm guessing all of our runners will talk to the old man for hearts. It costs about, I don't remember, 4 seconds or something, but makes GT a lot safer and lets you do some faster strats in GT. So it's not a huge time loss, but some players opt to skip it. Be a little surprised to see them skip it in a race, though. Oh, I didn't see what happened to Sleepy there, but he fell in Fire Snake Room. Must have gotten bumped off the ledge by a snake.
Yeah.
Krithel is about to become our second runner into GT. So normally GT is the end of the run. You do GT into Ganon, but in this run, you might note that there is a dungeon we have not yet completed. Which of course is Aga Tower. All dungeons is all dungeons. And so Aga 2 is nice enough to spit you out right outside of Aga 1's door. So we combine those two things, because then Aga 1 spits you out right in front of Ganon's door. They really coordinated to make this route possible for us.
Sleepy had a faulty bomb somehow. Did not get the...
Did he clip it into the wall or something?
It was probably a bomb clip throw, yeah. One of those clips that occurs when Link picks up an object after throwing a bomb.
Oh no, he shot one too few arrows. Alright, we're good.
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Speedrunners start to become a little too confident that they can actually count their arrows.
Counting is forbidden tech.
Or
right,
predict when the last one will fire.
Everybody has opted for heart refill, and Rob is into GT. MM2 will be into GT in just a few seconds. I think Rob went for spike skip. I'm not sure. I saw him getting the hookshot one frame to the left of where you want to be, which is usually a symptom of almost getting spike skip. So Spleeby is a few screens ahead of Krithel going into the climb, entering Gauntlet. He is entering Gauntlet on 3.5 hearts, which is probably not what he was hoping for.
Yeah, it's a little scary here.
If he can make it through Gauntlet, the rest isn't too scary, and he can fake powder at the end. Okay, and he's going to opt to grab that heart.
Yeah. Smart play.
Oh. Get through. It's only a couple more rooms.
I like the arrow shot from Spleeby and G4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes that kill consistent. It's funny because it's like you don't really think about using the arrow to stun an enemy, but that's basically what's happening.
Yeah, that's absolutely what's happening. If the whatever it is, Zazak is going to go far enough right that you wouldn't be able to dash it, the arrow gets to it first and stops it in place. Nice heart drop from Sleepy too, so he's feeling a little bit better now, I imagine. Maybe he was never scared.
And a silver arrow Armos fight for MM2. Yeah. Easy peasy.
It's pretty fun. Pretty fun fight. Oh, getting a short hop from Krithel. Unfortunate. Sleepy opting to pick up the heart in Torches 2, which is a little surprising. I figured he would just fake powder, but maybe he's opting to not fake powder and grab that heart instead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he lost track of his bomb count.
Huh.
I guess that's because bombable floor went wrong.
Yeah, I thought so. Rob does the arrow too.
Shoutouts to Behemoth.
Yeah, that's accurate and factual.
Krithel dumping bombs just to make menu a little easier. Oh, an MM2. So
Yeah.
MM2 has silvers, which you want to use on Landmo. So you shoot that arrow in G5, and you just sort of pray that you don't get the one RNG where the Stalfos doesn't walk into your arrow. But the prayer didn't work this time. Interesting setup for Landmo 2. Did not pay off. Forgot to skip the magic. Sounds like you just need to use a lot of extra fire somehow. We're getting a Clipe from Spleeby. Oh, it looks like we might have missed it, though.
Dang.
Good attempt. You only have a few seconds to do that. It's pretty tricky.
It's a shortcut
triple.
scene, but we can skip a little bit of it and save a few seconds. If we can get Link to scroll the camera away. And Crystal gets it!
There we go. Yep. You can save a surprising amount of time with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice little time save.
Remembering to go into Aga Tower. So Spleeby finished Ganon's Tower and now just needs to be Aga Tower, like you mentioned, to wrap up all the dungeons.
Yep. Rob coming up on his Aga 2 fight, MM2 hot on his heels. So we are... Okay, so one thing, first of all. You can choose between basically Fire Rod and Hookshot for Aga Tower. Fire Rod is slightly faster, but a lot of runners are only comfortable doing Ganon with the Hookshot strats, because that's just like sort of the first thing most people learn. You have to learn whole new strats for the one-on-one if you don't want to use Hookshot. So you'll see some runners choose Hook and some runners choose Fire Rod. You will almost certainly see MM2 choose Silvers, though. Silvers are the best by a lot if you have them. But if you can't do the one-on-one on Ganon, then you just switch to Hookshot, I guess.
All right, so we have some upcoming major RNG factor here for Spleeby. He is pretty far ahead here. It's not impossible for this to turn around, though.
Yeah. Well, he's, what, 4 rooms ahead of Krithel? That's only a few blue balls. If it's a 4 blue ball difference or something, I think Krithel gets the lead back. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big ask, but it's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have warps to consider.
Yeah.
Oh, and going for the hook speed in Aga's room, hell yeah.
This is truly why we equip Hookshot.
Yeah.
course, running past the curtain just a little bit.
It's hard to control.
All right, we got the Silver Arrow tower climb for
Let's go.
MM2 now. And MM2 does the nice diagonal into a slash to clear the third room.
We've got Sleepy and Krithel into Aghanim. I can't count Aghanim balls though. Gotta watch the fun parts instead. MM2 getting bullied by guards in what I consider the worst room in the game, the Aga Tower Dark Maze.
Interesting contender. It is extremely annoying.
It's so terrible. And it sucks because you lose like half a heart and it costs you like 2.5 seconds in the rest of the dungeon.
Woo! Krithel's out first. Sleepy was getting a lot of blue balls.
And there you have it.
And it's just going on and on.
Shoutouts to Aga, the real MVP. The Kingmaker.
Yeah.
Rob about to enter his Aga fight. MM2 a couple rooms away.
Still more blue balls.
Good
Incredible.
Lord. Nine blue balls. Well, that's one way to change a race. My goodness. 9 blue balls compared to 0 blue balls is over a minute of time loss. And there is just absolutely nothing you can do about blue ball RNG, by the way. For anyone who's curious, the RNG in this game updates extremely aggressively all over the place. From everything that happens affects it. There's no manipulation possible.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it. It's extremely aggressively.
Yeah, like some games only update RNG when something needs it, and then you can like be careful about how what that one thing sees. But RNG updates every single frame, and it takes all sorts of weird stuff into account. So it's just completely unmanipulable.
Yeah.
The way Tassers get good RNG is they just spend a lot of time doing trial and error. Like there's just nothing you can do.
It would be interesting to go back in time and to like understand the psychology of the developers who programmed the RNG and such. They were on the bleeding edge.
I would guess that they just were like, we don't want to like, you can't prove that the game isn't going to feel repetitive unless you do something like that. So like, why not just go all the way and make sure it's really never going to be competitive or repetitive?
Right. And will continuously frustrate speedrunners.
Alright, so Krithel and Spleeby are doing Phase 4 Ganon, where you have to spin him without silvers. You have to spin him in this sort of tight window right before he warps. And
yeah, this is a very fun fight. I didn't mean to talk over it.
No, it's fine. It's really fun, and it's pretty tricky. So we saw Krithel have a little trouble lighting the lamp a couple times. Spleeby seems to be having a pretty good fight, although I think he's going to miss that spin, yeah.
And Krithel's the first to defeat Ganon and walk into the Triforce room.
Very good. 116-17. GG to Krithel. And that is first place on the restream and also first place overall. And it looks like Spleeby is going to also be second place both on the restream and overall.
GG's.
I imagine we'll ask our runners in for interviews. We might want to go ahead and watch the last couple minutes first. I don't really know. Rob is doing his 1-in-1, taking a hit on purpose there to not get bats or not have beams. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it worked.
Yeah, some runners will prefer getting rid of their beams as sort of the sonic annoyance.
Yeah, it's distracting. Rob getting a pretty annoying amount of warps. But Ganon cooled down there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is...
Arrows save something like 25 seconds on phase 4.
I feel like Rob has the advantage, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, and M2 not getting a first hit there. Okay. I think we're going to get a double here, and then can we get another double? No.
All right.
Oh, just
Rob
barely
defeats Ganon.
squeaking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Such a close race between these two, and such a close race between Spleeby and Krithel, and overall still a pretty close race, but two very tight pairs.
GG's to all the runners. And
GG's especially to MM2 with a 6-minute PB.
wow, that's awesome. Always fun to get a sub 120 in this category.
Yeah, anytime you cut your NMG PB, you can feel good about it.
True.
I think everyone except MM2 is going to maybe have some complaints about how their runs look. I see a lot of red on their splits, but they were all good runs. It's a really difficult category. There's a lot that can go wrong, and it was a really fun race to watch.
Yeah, we like to call this all disasters.
Yeah.
AD, but there were not, there were not so many disasters by any one or two runners that we had a huge divergence of times.
Right.
So pretty nice to see a close race here.
Welcome, everyone, MM2 and Krithel and Rob and Spleeby. GG's to all of you.
Congrats, GG's.
GG's.
Congrats on the win, Krithel. Congrats on the unbelievably large PB MM2.
Yeah, that's like 6 months worth of PB energy.
Well, it's very gratifying.
Yeah, gonna be great to run against with 7 blue balls.
Nice. Yeah, Spleeby got a ton of blue balls too.
Yeah, 9 of them.
Aga really helping me out.
How many did you get, Krithel?
1.
Dang.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
1 versus
before-
9 is about a minute difference.
Yeah. I said in this race, it would not be impossible for our RNG to make the difference here. And Fox predicted that 4 would be enough, but now apparently it was 8. So, GG's to everyone. And MM2, you said 6 months in the making. Did you start the category that long ago?
I think I started it before, actually. Like, I want to say I did my first run, like, a really long while ago and got, like, an obscenely bad time. Like, a 140-something, maybe. And then, like, I got my 124, like, 6 months ago, ballpark. And then, yeah, now here we are.
Okay, very nice.
Are you going to keep pushing it further?
Potentially. This run's definitely improvable with the 7 blue balls, and then, of course, Cold Stare was a mess, and there were a few other things here and there, but overall it felt pretty solid. But I might do a few more runs here and there. Just depends on what I feel like doing.
You got to stay warm for the next monthly.
Yeah, exactly.
Malmo has finished. She was not restreamed today, but she has finished as well. GG to Malmo. So, anybody have any other thoughts about their runs? Anything interesting come up?
I was pretty happy with my run apart from Turtle Rock.
I was pretty happy with my run apart from like Cold Stare and probably something else that I'm forgetting.
Yeah, you have a lot of golds on that splits.
Yeah, I had triple golds, and then Cold Stare killed the Ice Gold. If I hadn't messed up Cold Stare, then I probably would have held like 7 golds in a row.
Right, that's pretty excellent.
For sure. Don't see that every day.
I had a lot fewer disasters than I was expecting because I haven't done any runs of this since October. But I've just been running NMG. There's a little bit of that transfers over, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a lot of
For sure.
runes.
Yeah, I've been running Metroid Dread recently, and not a lot of that transfers over.
Sounds like you and Spleevy are in the same boat.
Yeah, I've been running that too. Well, not speed running, casually. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm losing track here. Who was it who had a Mire adventure that involved the lobby key and
Krithel, I think?
I think that was Krithel, right?
Oh, yeah, and the disastrous Maya, yeah.
But
And
you
then-
wouldn't normally go for that key, right? That was because you were low hearts.
Because I managed to bonk and was not expecting the spark to wipe me out twice.
Yeah, right.
At that point, I needed to do something.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough.
I think
still
it was-
died to pity.
I think it was a really good try, though. Like, I don't know what you could have done other than that. I think it was a good attempt. You were just sort of in a bad spot.
Yeah, it was a very weird one. I don't often die at that point. It just so happened to line up and
Yeah, the eyeball was really unlucky.
yeah.
Just jumping right out at the end. Yeah, I speculated that the new Hoda route for low percent would be applicable. I'm not sure if it is, but it